Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rebooked. And if you're seeing my face, I'm sorry, but it also means that it's Thursday, which means it's time for our TNA dedicated episode. That's right, diving into all the Impact lore, storytelling, etc., and giving you a look at what is coming ahead at TNA. But of course, I am not alone as the Drama King. No, of course, we've got the man himself who does all the blah, 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 and all our other shows. GB is here. Look at that. And the man who finally has his internet working, ladies and gentlemen, it's El Gigante. It's El Gigante sitting in for Jake. Oh, wait. Oh, it's just Jake.
It's just Jake. Oh, not El Gigante. Dang.
On that note, I feel like a segment was born yesterday thanks to Jake, who recommended that I watch the Mark Twain Award ceremony for Conan O'Brien.
Oh.
I feel like we should introduce a segment with some of those old school wrestlers, but with the mouth moving where we do our.
Yes.
We could have El Gigante as a co-host.
One of my favorite bits that Conan used to do when he would interview Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bill Clinton. Oh my God.
We take the picture, Jake, you just take a couple of pictures of them and we just impose the mouths on it.
Green screen cutout of like
I love it.
The mouth, and then we just fill it in.
I think we got to do it. I think we got to do it.
That's
well,
easy.
Jake might be the only one to do it for most people because we got beards that unless we want to shave, it's going to be very obvious.
Yeah, right.
So
we'll
just get Jake clean shaven, and With that said, fellas, let's dive into the nitty gritty of the TNA universe and look at our narrative notes. We saw that last week. On TNA Impact, there was some, again, we're kind of just rolling off of Rebellion. We are building to Under Siege and laying the Aztec Warriors and a Mustafa Ali on the Rampage a little bit. Picked up wins on Impact, again, as everyone's trying to recover, refocus after Rebellion. But our first kind of big headline of that is because, of course, we know at Rebellion, the Nemeth brothers, the most annoying brothers in Hollywood, did win the TNA tag team titles from the Hardys. And they came out and had a pretty funny, I thought it was a pretty entertaining promo. Ryan Nemeth, I think, is really going to shine in this whole pairing. Like, he's so obnoxious and everything, but bare bones about it. What it was they threw down. They said, "Hey, you can have a rematch for the titles. Let's do it at Under Siege. Let's do it in a ladder match. We'll give you exactly what you want." And then playing into some real life, boys. They brought up the fact that because of Jeff Hardy's checkered past, his issues with DUIs and things of the like, he can't go into Canada, so he will not be part of that event. They tried to rain on that parade using that as a joke, but the match has been saved, courtesy of Santino Marella, and it is now going to be a tag team title match. The Nemeths will defend against Matt Hardy and a partner of his choosing. And we just found out, I think this morning, it was just dropped on TNA on their website, that it is Leon Slater. Not a huge surprise, but I wanted to get your guys' quick take on this match and on the setup and the idea of getting your contract. I believe we're considering this their contractual rematch, but it's not with the quote unquote original team that lost the titles. Well, I just want to get your guys' original or first reactions to this match.
I gotta say, it's kind of exciting just because it's Leon Slater. And I know he's just going to elevate the match and he's going to do the things like
literally
he's going to get to come out and be a Hardy Boy, man. That's going to be exciting for him. I guarantee you, like a guy like Leon Slater, clearly inspired by individuals like the Hardy Boys all throughout his career. I mean, they've inspired so many people. It's kind of like that moment where, like, well, maybe not exactly the same, like when Kurt Angle walked out with the Shield. Obviously, this is going to be...
Let's not give him that. Don't put that evil on him.
No, but it's going to be like a father and son, though. You know what I mean? That's how it's going to feel like. I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be sick.
I love that he's getting this opportunity. I have a lot of logistical questions, though.
Okay.
Like,
all right. What kind of car are they going to share?
So I mean, if we know that would be, I guess, somewhat interesting. But I specifically mean like if Matt and Leon win, are Matt and Leon the champions, or are Matt and Jeff the champion? Are we Freebird ruling it? Is this a non-transferable title? Like
a coupon?
Like a coupon, or like a
cash register?
Like a car title? Or is it I have some questions about that.
So as far as I know, I guess I technically don't have this like triple confirmed, but the way I understood it, as was written, as was told, would Jeff Hardy, given the situation, is understanding, and he just wants.
So is Leon Slater an avatar on Jeff's behalf?
No, he's fighting on behalf of the Hardys. But if Matt and Leon win, I believe Matt and Leon are the tag titles, and Jeff Hardy is willingly like letting them have that match given the circumstances.
Okay. So he's given his blessing.
Yes, essentially.
Yeah. He's letting his brother go for gold, pretty much. Support, and then in that, Matt's like, all right, screw it. I'm gonna grab the hottest thing on TNA right now and see if he can. That's
a very interesting situation that I would be very interested in how it would all play out if they end up winning. I would too. Just because of how. Like, what is Jeff going to do? How would Jeff handle? I mean, I would think Jeff would handle it well, but I mean, you never know. This is professional wrestling, and
the Hardys have fought
people in it are lunatics
themselves.
So, yeah, exactly. So, this could be very interesting if Jeff and Matt couldn't win it, and someone else comes in and is able to take the dub over Jeff.
Yeah,
how does that make Jeff feel?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Classic.
That would be a really cool story
there.
But then that also does kind of like impact the Nemeths, I think. I really do want the Nemeths to get like a good run with this belt, just because they're gonna be such crappy people.
Going to be.
They're there. They're already there. It's very true. Like, I mean, I'm seeing this image of Nick Nemeth already, and you could just see the smug smile from Ryan Nemeth over in the background. It's just so good.
That's a great shot.
By the way, I do have to give a shout out to Ryan Nemeth's Substack. If you have a second, it's on his on his Instagram or whatever.
It's like Barney Stinson's blog,
Kind of, yeah. It's a good laugh. He talks about that night at Rebellion in one of the more recent posts. It's pretty good. It's a good chuckle.
Definitely Creed thoughts.
Creed thoughts.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, professional wrestling's Creed thoughts. Exactly.
Oh, that's good.
Before we move on, my one thing I wanted to run by you, because this is kind of how I felt a little bit, and I feel confident that we're gonna get back there probably shortly after Under Siege. But given how everything wrapped up with the X Division title at Rebellion and the controversy of the finish, Leon should be champ, blah, blah, blah. It feels like a bit of a abrupt detour for Leon of like, if I were him, if I were writing that story, you would want to like, hey, he should be beelining to Santino for like, hey, that was millimeters away. That should be mine. Blah, blah, blah. The relationship with the Hardys, I think, makes total sense. So it fits. But like, I'm really excited to see Leon hopefully get back into that.
Yeah, I think he should do like a promo or like a video or just something to that effect where maybe he's just like, wants to go for it, but like, is like, I'm going to just take a second right now and like help my friends out because they've always had my back. You could do something like that. Also, alternatively, it would be cool to see like a more influential individual come to him and say, hey, you should be getting yours and I can help you. Maybe like a AJ Francis or something like that, who could be like a manager mouthpiece for Leon Slater. I don't know. I think there's a lot of really cool ways you can go. You can even, and then that includes Casey Navarro, who's also seeing a little bit of an uptick. I don't know, but go for it, Jake.
Or you could see him lose the tag titles in a similar fashion to what he did the X Division title. I think it'd be interesting to see him, like, once again, have it won, maybe a ref's not there or starts the count late or whatever
at the finish
it is.
line.
Right at the finish line yet again, and then it's snatched away from him.
Yeah.
And then
Leon's bad luck.
And then maybe you have Santino come out and be like, okay, enough's enough. You've basically won 2 titles. You've been this close, if not screwed out of 2 of them. Now you're getting your shot. You've proven that you belong here amongst the best. So now you get your one-on-one shot. No one else involved, just you and the champ. I think that would be great. I think that'd be a really cool, nice little cyclical way to continue telling the Hardy's story as well as Leon's.
But then to that point, because the next monumental moment we're going to have is probably Slammiversary in July.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what we've talked about with All In. We've got some time before then. So like, I wouldn't want, unless you really wanted to crown Leon at like Against All Odds in June, but that is a smaller scale event as opposed, and I think you'd want to save it for the big one. So, but while we still have maybe a Robert Stone here, maybe Santino goes to that's a really good point, Jake. I really like that. Hey, you've been screwed basically twice. I'm giving you your shot. Wait.
No.
This is exactly what's wrong. And because
nepotism.
I feel like Santino and Robert Stone, I literally don't know this, but like, I think we're building to some kind of match or tag match scenario, some kind of showdown.
Has to be a conflict.
Maybe at Against All Odds in June. But before then, maybe he puts a roadblock in Leon's way on behalf of the system. You've got to beat every member of the system over the next, 4 weeks. And if you do that at Slammiversary, something like that.
Have we settled
could be an interesting
why Robert Stone has authority?
He's a white man.
All right, there you
moving
go.
on.
That's all you need to know. This is America, and they ain't wrong.
No. So, and the first night, Tom actually, even on commentary, brought that up, but we literally in creative had to have that clarified. So the idea being that basically he went with all his managerial experience in NXT. He went over Santino's head to the Anthem board, the owners of TNA, and was like, "Hey, I'm going to do an audit of with your blessing, I'm doing an audit
got
of
it.
TNA's management. It seems a little chaotic, so I'm going to go in there and kind of poke my nose around." And he sweet talked him, and they're letting him kind of have his say here and there.
I see. So, interesting.
Yes,
I think that's a cool.
Said he's a little shit pig searching for truffles. Yeah. That's all he's doing.
But what that means is there's definitely going to be some kind of like more. We're set for more run-ins with them, with those two for sure. Because I mean,
power struggle.
As we have learned, co-managers just don't work. Ask Jim and Michael Scott. Okay,
that's right.
Hey, how dare you? One of them was day to day, and one of them was big picture, and it worked.
So is Robert Stone big picture or is he day to day? We gotta figure. He's big
Robert
picture.
Stone is for sure big picture.
He's big picture. Yeah.
He's Michael Scott.
Well, then Santino's going to learn he can make way more money as a wrestler again. And so they're both going to try to go back to being a wrestler.
And what I think is funny is that he dressed like the way Michael Scott wants to dress, leather suits and stuff like that. So I guess it does make sense.
That's date night. That's date Mike.
Nice to meet me.
Got his shoes at Shoe La La,
Yeah. But anyway, we've taken a lot of time on that topic. Yes, let's move on our narrative notes. Because speaking of Robert Stone, him and Santino, as a result of all this tussling back and forth, Robert Stone brought in Victoria Crawford. So all of this sets up for next week. Speaking of another mystery tag team partner, it'll be Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford versus the Knockouts champ Masha Slamovich and a partner of her choosing,
Leon Slater.
Find out. He's everybody's friend.
He's ready to
everybody's
go.
I mean, they should call this event TNA Spring Formal, with how many people have to be like
have to find
courted and find dates to come participate with them.
Hey,
which now that I think about it is kind of a fun concept It's kind of a fun concept for a show where you have to, everybody's partnered up, but they have to pick someone they're not normally partnered with.
We should look. Anybody can get a game on Steam now. It seems like so instead of a dating sim, we should be like a tag partner sim.
Yes.
Like, hey, bro, like just these simple drawn characters.
Oh my god.
Hey, bro,
I've seen your elbow drop. It looks really sick. Do you want to partner up with me? I have an extra pair of blue gear.
The way you flex your muscles on the turnbuckles really get me going. Do you want
to get real weird real fast?
It's gonna be like Dream Daddy on steroids. I'm all about that.
Hey, dude, you give great head locks. I want to.
Yeah. All right. Let's make it.
I love it. Our last narrative note before our main topic of the day. Basically, we talked about it last week. We previewed it. It happened. We gave a little spoiler with how much blood there would be, and there was blood. So I just want to get your guys' initial reactions to the international title dog collar match between Steve Maclin and Eric Young. Anybody throw up?
Did you? I mean, no, you were there.
It smelled like pennies.
It smelled, I can imagine.
It smelled like copper up there.
You can see Matt right there, just like
this is before it all went down.
Not sure what was going to happen, and then it progressively got worse in a very quick amount of time, and it just kept getting worse. And then he finally killed the man, and then he ended him and he won. Yep, that was wild, man. Seriously, that was nuts. That was crazy. Yeah. I did not expect that on an episode of Impact.
I don't think Steve expected that.
No,
and he was the one there involved.
Was it just like something just happened? Like did it get hit like?
Yeah, I think it's some it's sometimes when doing color and stuff in wrestling. Try as hard as you might to make it, small or minor or this here. It's the human body. And it's a while. It's on the fly. You're doing something pretty rough. And so, it just went more than anticipated.
Yeah. What didn't that happen to Eddie Guerrero years ago? Wasn't that a thing
that
happened?
Headshot? The chair from JBL where he bled like a stuck pig.
That was it. And were they
just good?
That was, I believe, a hard way.
Were they that was not to do that?
No, that's what I'm. A hard way means it happened. Just because it happened.
Right. I remember when people started talking about the hard way stuff when Brock Lesnar did the elbows onto Randy Orton and actually like cut him open, and everyone was like, "Oh!"
And also when Brock
Brock
Lesnar did it to himself at WrestleMania 31 by throwing himself face first into the pole, into the ring post to make himself bleed. Which you have to go pretty, like if you're not cut or anything like that, you have to hit that thing pretty damn hard. Nasty bits of blood there, folks.
I think what we need, and AEW had this issue way worse than anyone else. So this is not like a TNA thing. This is, I think, the only time this has happened in a while, from what I could remember.
Barbed Wire Massacre.
No. That was at a pay-per-view, though. I'm talking like just Impact TV. Because, TV is TV, right? It's a little different versus like a pay-per-view.
I can tell you the last time. It was probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, so you see, it's not substantial. I mean, it's not.
It was Sami Callihan and Eric Young.
Yeah,
of all people.
Eric Young seems to be the common denominator in all of this.
It was the usual suspects.
Eric Young,
people you would expect.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that. I mean, shit happens and it is what it is. This isn't like a big deal. It was a little weird seeing people like kind of lose their minds about like how much blood there was. And I was like, yeah, it was. But like, again, shit happens and there's not really much else you could do about it. That being said, like, I'm curious where this goes for Steve Maclin, narratively for the international title, which is very much trying to find its footing currently. So, yeah. And we got a little bit of that.
But who's going to want to mess with a man who just went through that and came out on the other side standing tall?
Well, you heard a little bit. If you go and watch that match back, Matt Cardona was on commentary with us.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout that match, a little bit, we know the Deathmatch King. But even he on there was like, we mentioned it, like, you're Mr. Deathmatch out here. And he's like, even I think this is nasty. He's like, these guys are going crazy. But this gets into our preview for later. But we did see 4 individuals all kind of make their presence known during that match, watching who would win. So we have a little bit of an idea of where this might go. We'll get into that into the preview, though. Let's get into our primary topic of the day, and that is pondering, pontificating, surmising, if you will, what a TNA landscape could look like if the thing finally happens that we've been talking about for really a year, but for sure for 6 months since this official TNA partnership with NXT and WWE was officially made on paper, blah, 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 blah. Will a wrestler from WWE or vice versa win a title from the other company? We have our next big chance, as we could have Trick freaking Williams as TNA World Champion when the title will be on the line at NXT Battleground, which is 2 days after Under Siege. So, we saw the contract signing on NXT last night. It remained civil, surprisingly, but some words were exchanged. How do we feel about a potential vibe as a TNA champion, Trick Williams?
Well, I would say first and foremost, the promo and the way everything about him, I'm liking the personality that Trick Williams has really created.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it.
Exactly. He went from, Carmelo Hayes' boy, always trying to shine, find those opportunities to this guy, what a transformation.
And that is not easy. Anybody who's played the second, even though they never treated him like the sidekick or the manager, they always held him in a higher regard. But still, anytime you have an established thing where, especially, it was clear that Carmelo was the guy and Trick was his boy, was his guy, his backup, his heater, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it's hard sometimes when they separate those people. There's very few who go out on their own and ride. Kevin Nash was one of those. He was Shawn Michaels, heavy in the back, and he ended up being a top guy. But a lot of those stories
with Nick Nemeth.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But it took him. He kind of did, but it kind of fizzled, and then it took finding the New Day to really get him back into the thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not an easy road, regardless. And Trick, to your point, I agree, has done incredible.
Yeah. He's he's found something good with the way that he talks reminds me a lot of old school rock, the way that he just was so quick with just saying whatever it was that he could insult someone and then just move on.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Old school Booker T in there too.
Shout
out to he's actually his trainer,
channeling quite a few legends in the way that his mannerisms, his act overall. It's really, really good to see. That being said, I do think that there's a world that he can win it, and I think it's also another question I had. Is this the first time TNA Championship is being defended on WWE TV?
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. He could win. He could win, and in a world with him as TNA champion, I think would be pretty exciting because he can get in there. I think the question really is though, who on the TNA side would be the individual that could step up to take him down. And there are a few names, but they're all very in various different spots right now. The only thing that I see happening, because he kind of teased it a little bit, was Mike Santana. Because they crossed paths in the hallway, and then Mike kind of stared him down, and then he just kind of chuckled, and then went on to go and talk to I think it was Rascals. So that's one that is a Trick Williams winning the championship, kind of cooling Joe Hendry off for a little bit, which I don't know why you would, but and then you get Mike Santana in there. That's equally as exciting, but it just I don't know. But I do like that they're doing this though, just because I think it's gonna be a great match regardless.
Yeah. Jake, any thoughts?
Ye of little faith. Doubting Thomas. I can't believe that you don't have faith anymore.
He doesn't believe.
I don't believe.
You don't believe. Like, what's wrong with you? What happened to you?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
It's 2025. It's tough to believe in things anymore. You know, it's
the best time to believe in things, because if we don't, we're all gonna go insane.
That's the truth.
I have to believe in Joe Hendry. I have to. Trick's got home field advantage, which is a problem.
True.
Mm-hmm. That is a problem. But I mean, you have to think though that still the NXT crowd is going to be on Joe's side. Like the only people that don't love Joe Hendry are the ones that are trying to take his title. Those are the only people that don't love him, you know? So, and even some of the people are probably cool with him. So I still think that like even though this is going to be, you know, an away game for him, I think he's still going to have the crowd very much on his side.
Yeah.
The NXT crowd loves him
a lot. Yeah. So it's going to be kind of an interesting like environment for this match. And I think that that's what's going to make this as fun as anything is just seeing how this crowd is going to react to everything that happens in this match and who comes out of it. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that we're a Trick to win. Not even Catholic, but that's for Pope Bob.
Pope Bob.
Pope Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're probably still going to boo him. So I don't know. It's just like there's a lot of things that are going into this that are very interesting, but it could be very cool to see Trick lose it or Trick win it and then defend it at like Slammiversary.
Sure.
And drop it back to somebody like Santana or even Hendry again, depending on circumstances, or Leon Slater even.
Oh, dude, so Trick get him involved. Leon Slater would go hard as hell.
That would go hard.
Yeah,
that'd be insane.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get. We are going to get a little bit of a preview because TNA's next PLE event is Under Siege, where we do have a tag team match, which is literally days before NXT Battleground. They're going to go from Canada to Florida. That won't be a weird, environmental change. But it's going to be Trick Williams with everybody's favorite resident, heel or cantankerous individual, Frankie Kazarian, especially after losing his Call Your Shot gauntlet trophy. They're going to team up to take on Joe Hendry and his friend Elijah, make some music together. So one of those classic, like, oh, will this have ramifications for Battleground? Good opportunity for someone to maybe get hurt. If talking about Trick Williams, maybe somebody gets hurt before Battleground. You'll see Trick Williams, I believe, on not this tonight's, but I believe it's next week's episode of he'll be on commentary. Actually, he'll join Tom and I, and he'll espouse a couple of his thoughts heading into both those matchups, actually.
Yeah.
So
I definitely see how that tag team battle is going to play out. For sure. Come on. You got Trick Williams teaming up with Frankie Kazarian. I don't think that those two individuals are representing, they're like the beacons of teamwork and cooperation.
The best.
Well, you saw how Kazarian and Ethan Page worked together several weeks back before Rebellion. It did not exactly go well.
No, and I do think that it might not even be Frankie this time around. I think it could very well be Trick, because Trick's just a douche. So it's there's gonna be,
his name is Trick.
I know, right? He comes out and the song's Pump That Trick. Come on, everyone. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm excited. Under Siege does look like it's going to be a pretty fun one. Don't sleep on that Cody Deaner Eddie Edwards match as well, because there's some interesting things happening there in that story that we're not talking about, but
career's on the line.
Cody loses, he's gone, right? Like that's
this is his last chance. They've been playing this story of like his contract was up, but of course him as a character hasn't won really anything in a long time.
I want him to be the ultimate underdog, like the way Sami Zayn is. I want him to go on a freaking crazy underdog arc. if he wins this.
Cool.
It would be so sick, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we've gotten really like personal. I like it because we've gotten personal with him. He's talked about he's a father. He's he's a motivational speaker. Like he's got these really kind of interesting things about his real life, especially he's been such a character, like actor of a wrestler.
Yeah.
He was kind of this like hillbilly boy character. Then he was part of like the Violent by Design stuff where he was like a cult member. Then he left that and tried to lead it. And that kind of failed for him. And then he's done this character where he's given all his power to the people and they just make all the decisions for him. All these kind of just gimmicks. So like seeing the real part of him come out, I think you're right, GB. You could see some, I think some really cool things coming out of that.
And Eddie Edwards is like a great guy to tell that story with.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of TNA, like Eddie Edwards is like a person who's like literally top of mind. So it's like, Mr. TNA kind of in this matchup with, a guy who could very well be the underdog of TNA. Like, oh man, put it in there. What is this? Is this bullshit? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I'm excited for it. So stupid.
Goosebumps, baby. Let's take a little look at the week ahead, which will be airing tonight if you're watching this on Thursday, which you should be. Couple big things that we know are going down. First, getting back to that Hardy's Nemeth situation. Well, Santino has made it happen since Jeff can't go to Canada. May as well let him get his hands on the Nemeths before then, because going down, as we found out, for the first time in 16 years, Nick Nemeth and Jeff Hardy will go one-on-one in what I believe is the main event of the show. So we even got some footage from WWE of that last match. It was a Monday Night Raw. It was a random Raw. Jeff.
Wow.
From 16 years, so like 2009, something like that. So you'll see a little bit of that on the show tonight. Wow. And we'll see who gets the win this time before all that action goes down.
Who do you think wins? Who do we think wins?
I can't answer because this has been filmed and in the can.
Okay, so then Jake, who do we think? I see Nick winning it.
I see Jeff winning it.
Okay.
For reference, you want to know? Do you know who won that match 16 years ago? Do you?
Jeff.
If it's 16 years ago, I'm going to say Jeff.
It was indeed Jeff.
Yeah.
If that changes your mind at all.
It does not. Okay. I want Jeff to win, and then I want Matt and Leon to win the titles so Jeff can claim that he loosened the pickle jar for him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. He loosened Nick's pickle jar.
You only beat. I gave him a beat down. I softened him up for you.
Matt, all I'm saying is you got to find a way to get loose in the pickle jar in the commentary.
Get loose in Nick's pickle jar and soften him up.
Even if it's
you got to be hard first before you're soft.
That's true.
I want to make sure nice.
Nobody's harder than Nick Nemeth.
It's harder than a freshly picked green banana. Like there it is. If you had green bananas, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about, Jake.
We are a mature wrestling show.
Why would I eat a green banana? That's
foolishness.
I'll make it for you one day. It's fine.
No, I don't want your green banana.
Leave each other's bananas out of it.
Yes, my God.
This is a serious show. God bless it. But other than that, we know about that Knockouts tag match. We'll find out who Masha Slamovich is partnered with. And I teased it a little bit earlier. During that international title match, the dog collar match, not only was Matt Cardona on commentary, Mance Warner came out to the stage to watch. Mance Warner likes blood. Big surprise. Came out to watch the match. And then backstage, we saw both Ace Austin and Elijah with the old monitor shot, classic wrestling monitor shot. So there will be a fatal four-way to determine the number one contender to the international title between Matt Cardona, Ace Austin, Elijah, and Mance Warner. That'll go down tonight on TNA Impact.
Damn.
But you know what you all could do right now on Rebooked TNA episode? You could go ahead and do us a huge old favor and like this video. Hit that little thumbs up. We like it. You like it. It makes us feel good. You know what else makes us feel good? Hitting that subscribe and bell icon so you know anytime these episodes and our WWE episodes and our AEW episodes come out. And go ahead and leave a little comment on who you think will face Steve Maclin next for the international title. Let us know down below.
Drop a pickle down in the comments.
And drop a pickle.
Drop your pickle down in the comments.
Put your pickle in the comments. Thank God you can't leave actual pictures because we would get kicked off YouTube.
Yeah.
But leave a pickle in the comments and with who you think will win that #1 contendership match. But otherwise, we love you, folks. We appreciate you. And until the next time, watch our WWE episode tomorrow. Check out the AEW episode from this week. And otherwise, for the Drama King, for GB, for Jake, we'll see you on the next one.
Eat some pickles.